Episode 4 Emulation. Welcome back. To anyone who's ever lost a loved one, could be a parent who's lost a child or a child who's lost a parent, or it could be a husband and wife, could be either way. Any person who's ever lost somebody, you could hear that person again and know that it wasn't them, but you just wanted to hear their voice. Would you? I know one of my grandmother's biggest things was her son passed away, and she was saying to me, I wish I could find just one recording from the answering machine just to hear his voice again. And it's sad. It's sad to think of. But I thought about with emulation, with AI in the future at some point, people are going to be able to create models of other people's voices, things like that. Not only that, but somebody like me could leave a legacy video of recordings, generic responses. That type of thing was showcased in the movie Artificial Intelligence. And it's something that isn't really too far off in the future. It's something that you could do. Like, imagine if you wanted to set up a list of answers to questions. You said, well, people want to ask different questions. Here's my responses. And it could be generic. It could be something like, if my children in 50 years want to ask me, what's the meaning of life? You could say, here's what I want my answer to be. You could record it and set those up as sort of generic responses. At some point, you could also do that with AI and you could emulate what those answers would be. And we've seen how detailed some of the deep fakes are nowadays. I could imagine in 50 years, we're going to have videos that will be almost like perfect representations of us. Shoot, you guys could be watching this exact video and it wouldn't be me. Wouldn't know. If there were enough videos of me interacting like, besides having a crappy camera that's consistently autofocusing and the weird light on the microphone and all these like little details, being able to see the blue reflection of my glasses of the screen. Look really carefully, you can actually see video interface that I'm looking at right now. But yeah, if you were able to mimic all that stuff and you were able to copy it just based off what it generally would look like, you wouldn't really be able to tell the difference anymore. Just all those little subtleties you have to look at. That's kind of where the deep fakes and the AI stuff, that's where it's getting. We're starting to see news articles where I'm pretty good at it because I've been practicing for some time and I can usually tell a fake image. But some of the videos are getting very realistic, very realistic. You have to really study the hands and the interactions and the ways that people are holding stuff and see the differences. But I think at some point you're going to have multi-level filtering where AI is going to clean that up so well that you just won't be able to find it anymore. But not right now. They'll tell the difference, but it's getting there. And at a glance, I mean, you wouldn't know any different. If it was on like a Snapchat video that was a one-time view, couldn't go back and see it again. You'd be like, I think that was real. I don't know. That's how things are. They're getting to the point where the line between reality and what's AI fake is it's blurring. But then I guess the next best thing is, what does it mean to you? You see a video that you had no part of, that had nobody you knew in it, then it doesn't really matter if it's real or fake if it doesn't have any interaction with your life. It's just kind of like video. Like if it was a skateboarding video and you say, oh man, that was a really good trick. Would it really matter if it was real? That's kind of a weird concept to think of. Like, if you're watching entertainment and it's not real, does it take away from the fact that it's entertainment? That's, I don't know. That's strange. That's where emulation comes in. Try to think, what is the main point of this, anyways? Like, if you had stand up comedy and it was fully deep faked and it was funny, it'd be just as entertaining as a real stand up comedian. Now, fortunately, comedians are killing it, and deepfakes have no sense of humor whatsoever. AIs are so bad with sarcasm. There's uh, there's some work to be done there. We'll say that much. I've tried to get AIs to write jokes and stuff, and it'll be like, I forget one. There was one that was so stupid. I wish I could remember it right now. It was something like, "Why is the guy bald?" or something, and it was like, "He likes buying hats," and I was like, "What? What does that even mean?" Like, or it was like a reverse of that. Why does the guy like buying hats? And it's because he's bald. Haha. And I'm over here just balding angrily. What the hell? Sense. But yeah, no, comedy is a perfected human art. Beautiful because it's us going through things. You stub your toe and you're like, oh, damn it all. And you tell someone about it and they can chuckle with you about something dumb that happened. It's like, I don't know, just something about it. It's that human experience that AIs don't have. And they're trying to figure out where it is, but I don't think it's been well explained to AIs. So they're not able to fake it. They're not able to find what's funny, and they're trying. But even I think right now we're at like ChatGPT 5, just not quite there yet. I feel like that's in the future how we're going to be able to tell the time span. Like, yeah, when did you meet mom? Like, oh, I met mom about ChatGPT 5. Like the years won't matter as much. It'll just be what iteration of AI were we on. It's so creepy to think of. Like time itself doesn't matter as much as what stage of AI we were at. Becoming like that. Anyways, so back to emulation. We're able to replicate sort of video representations or like ideologies. You could talk to ChatGPT and you could say, I want you to answer like Einstein. You could say, what kind of ice cream should I get today? And it'll answer like Einstein. I don't know what that even means necessarily, but it'll try to use that as a filter. If there was anything historically significant about Einstein to do with ice cream, like favorite flavor or something, it'll try to incorporate that into response. So it uses that as like sort of a bumper bowling, like filter guidelines of how it's going to respond. You could try it with different stuff. Like let's see, Einstein took a trip to a banana plantation, a famous, ridiculous, unknown fact that nobody really cares about. You could ask an AI to explain its thoughts on bananas, but do it through Einstein's persona, I guess you could say. And it might be able to emulate what a conversation would be like had you been talking to Einstein. Really weird thing to discuss, but I encourage you guys to try it out. Try some like different, I don't know, like pick a famous person you wish you could talk to. Just tell AI, hey, I want you to be this person for the next question or whatever. And it'll try. It'll try to do that. It'll try to use like mannerisms and it might try to cite what terms were available then. I don't think it's quite good enough to like reference the timeline of like if you look at Oxford Dictionary, you can see the timeline of when it was used, when that term was at its peak. And I don't know if AI is able to calculate that in real time in order to incorporate sort of filtering through a persona. That was a lot of big terms and crap that I'm going into, but really interesting, especially with the emulation thing. So back to the loved one thing. If you were able to record enough of yourself, if you had, books and books and books of stuff, there would be ways of faking who you are. There would be like enough essence of who you are and enough, what would you say? I guess recordings, enough written down ways that you speak, enough everything. I don't know. But you'd be able to fake it better. If somebody was very unknown as a person, some guy in the middle of nowhere without much information, it would be really hard to replicate responses from that. But you take a famous person like Einstein, and it's like it's easier to get responses because there's more information about who that person was. And when you think of the whole span of humanity, it's like anybody who we know the most of is the easiest to guess how they would talk and what their ideals would be and things like that. So, as weird as it is, it's kind of what I'm doing right now, pouring my thoughts and ideas and ideals and everything into the recordings. And at some point, maybe 100 years in the future, AI could reach back and grab these video podcasts and say, wait a minute, I can emulate what an episode would be like if a person was talking about something in the future that hadn't even existed yet. Super weird. So before one of our famous people that started delving into AIs that I think lost his mind, Elon, Elon Musk, he's off the deep end at this point. It's a little wild and weird, but he had spoken about something way back where he was saying that theoretically you could record your own brain using systems that they're developing at the time called Neuralink. And he was saying one of the ideas he had was that you could download your own brain at the time of the recording, and then 10 years later, you could have a conversation with yourself from 10 years ago, exactly how you were then. And he was saying, you could also duplicate yourself then if you were able to record all the contents of the brain. But obviously, that's a little bit science fiction at the moment, but it's not too far off, which I think is something terrifying. And I think that might have been something that probably keeps Elon up at night. Probably part of the reason that he's been off the deep end and he's just trying to get his touch back with reality. Delving into concepts like that, it's wild and I don't know, it's terrifying, scary. It's stuff that we've never thought of before. It's like if we could record our dreams and then go visit our dreams later. I don't know, would we? Would you want to? I don't know if I would. It'd be weird. In virtual reality, I've delved into quite a few amazing things. I've probably seen more of virtual reality than probably anybody. I guess there's probably a couple people that spend more time in VR and maybe they hop around worlds more, but I've seen a lot of it and I've built a lot of it. It's a weird space, let me tell you that much. Like just getting to walk into a creation that you made, get to stand there and think to yourself, this doesn't exist anywhere except for in a computer, but I'm spatially aware of it. I'm standing inside of a room that I built, textured, and it looks realistic and it has whatever I put in there. But it's a space that does not exist. So there's entire worlds, spaces that don't exist, entire experiences of places that you can't go outside of computer. It's such a strange concept, but through emulation, at some point we're going to be able to experience more things than can really exist in the real world. It's just, yeah, it's mind blowing. Too much to delve into in one episode. So we're going to wrap up there. But I am curious if you guys have a chance to throw some stuff in the comments section. If you could speak to somebody long past format like this as like a video podcast or ask them questions on a Zoom call, if you knew that they weren't real, would you still want to talk to them? Some people, they would just want to hear one last time a loved one and hear them say everything's going to be all right. I'm really curious what your guys' thoughts are on that because it's something that I can't answer by just myself. That's a societal question. Something to think on. Till next time.